Now that you're at your second section in your class assignment, it is now time to read, see sound. You want to click on this link when you get to the assignment. You will see it. It will be blue. You want to click on it. Together in this video, we're going to read pages 4 through 8. On your own, you're going to read pages 9 through 20 and then answer the questions below. Let's go ahead and get into the text. If you have trouble getting into Amplify, please click on the Amplify login info sheet that is in Google Classroom. It will be attached to this assignment. Follow the directions on that info sheet so that you can get to the book if the link doesn't take you directly to the book. You will be able to get there by clicking on the dolphin image that says Waves, Energy, and Information, and then you want to click on the book titled See Sound. I'm going to go ahead and start reading page 5. And now what we're thinking about as we read See Sound, we're going to start reading about some individuals who are studying sound and the reasons why they study sound. So when we take notes, and I'm going to take notes on my pad of paper next to me, but I'm also going to show you in my slide how to take notes online. I want you to think about the why. Why are these people like engineers and audiologists and doctors? Why are they investigating sound, or why are they studying sound? Because that's what you're going to be asked about in your assignment. We want to think about sound in real life, not just so much as dolphins making sounds and whistles, but we want to think about all of the sound that's around us and all of the different people who actually study sound to help us. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it with working with sound. Many people work with sound. Sound engineers work on recorded sounds like music and movie sound effects. Audiologists work with people who are deaf or hard of hearing. Many scientists investigate sound waves as part of their work. So this is us. This is us helping the sanctuary figure out how sound waves work with dolphins. Doctors can even use sound to find and treat disease. So we've learned of different careers here that are investigating sound, and later you're going to understand even more as you read those different chapters of these individuals, like what they do and why they do what they do. Next page. People who work with sound often need to visualize sound. Even though sound is invisible, they need to find ways to see it. Waveforms and other visual representations of sound let people see sound. Seeing sound helps these people do their jobs. So that's very much like us in our simulations. When we think about visualizing and when we think about those representations, that's our simulation. When we saw the dots moving around, whether they were yellow or orange, we know that those dots represent particles. We know that the particles represented the sound waves and the sound energy that was shifting from mother dolphin to her calf. So these are the same representations that we saw. Today, in this text, you are going to see some different visual representations that doctors use, that scientists use, etc., to see how sound works. So make sure you're looking at the diagrams and illustrations and images as you go through the text. Turning the page so we can learn a little more about sciences. We're going to do this one together. Many different kinds of scientists investigate sound. For example, some scientists study how animals use sound to communicate. So when we think about the why are scientists studying sound? Why are they investigating sound? This right here, I'm actually going to pause and take a note because this is important, and I think that this may be one of my questions later on. So I'm going to pause and actually come over to my notepad here and jot down that note. Scientists study how animals use sound to communicate. And again, this is very much what we're doing as scientists as we help Miss Martinez, the superintendent of the sanctuary. So that's one note. That's some key information I think is going to be important during the assignment later. Continuing on, these scientists need to understand the properties of sound. They need to understand how animals make and hear sounds. The scientists also need to know how sound travels through the air, water, or ground around the animals. Now, this is sort of your how. This is a how scientists go about studying the communication of animals. So I'm not so much going to jot down this how because I want to focus on, again, on the why. So I'm going to continue reading. Some scientists investigate how the sounds we make affects animals. So this is another why, right? This is another reason why they investigate. They're investigating to see sometimes that, when we're around water or something like that, the sounds that we make may actually affect animals, and they want to see how that's happening. So I'm going to pause, go back to my notes, and go ahead and jot that down. They also investigate how the sounds we make affect animals. Continuing on with the reading. For example, a scientist might study how certain machine noises will affect the animals living nearby, which could be very important because we don't want to affect the habitat in a negative way. Visual representations help scientists investigate sound. Different sounds have different properties. Scientists can see the properties easily in a visual representation. Again, when we think about visual representation, we think about the simulations that we've been looking at, which includes sound waves, which includes particles or representation of particles. And we've seen and have actually analyzed wave tape that shows, or those wave printouts that show how waves are moving so that we can evaluate the amplitude and the wavelength. So again, as scientists, we're doing this work every day. Every time you open a simulation, every time you read some more information or you analyze some of the data that we've been looking at, you too are being a scientist and investigating sounds. And right here, this is actually what we're doing too as we read this caption. These scientists are investigating sounds that dolphins make underwater. They're looking at visual representations of the sounds. So they must have some type of device that's in that water that's allowing them to record the whistles and clicks that the dolphins are making. And now together they're sitting back on the computer analyzing that data, which must really be cool actually. Now, on your own, you are going to continue reading about doctors. You are going to continue to read about the audiologists and sound engineers. So you're going to read pages 9 through 20. Make sure you're taking your notes because it's going to make it easier for you, again, to answer the questions in your assignment.